Board of Education to order. I'll offer an invocation. Please bow with me. Father, we thank you for the opportunity that we have to discuss the business and planning of this school board. Father, we take this responsibility with the care that you ask us to care for our work. Father, may we have your wisdom and your discernment as we deliberate the things before us and discuss the plans for this system. Father, we ask for your comfort and care on the citizens of Cairo as they lost one of their students today in a tragic accident. We ask you to be with that family. We ask you to provide peace and comfort that only you can. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. All right. We have the agenda before us. We can adopt it by consent. So one. Okay. Then you have a consent agenda. Dr. Miller, is there anything on that you'd like to comment?
We have a brief agenda tonight with only 31 items. There's 10 requests to raise funds, 3 recommendations for employment, 4 reassignments, 7 resignations, 3 retirements, 2 corrections to a previous agenda, and 2 overnight field trip requests.
Okay. What is the pleasure of the board as it relates to this consent agenda? We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions, any discussion on it? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Consent agenda passes 5-0. Dr. Miller, your report.
I'd like to call your attention to, you have a manila folder with a school calendar in it. I'm just gonna ask Jennifer to pull it up. This, as you know, we have a committee of educators and parents who put together 3 options that we allow the staff members to cast a ballot on. And this is the most popular option, option B. Please note though that this calendar is 178 student days. Of course, with a state waiver, we're no longer required to do 180 days. One thing that our K-5 teachers have asked for years is time to have parent conferences. And so we always run into professional development and parent conferences and time for the teachers to work in their rooms. And so with that in mind, a day was added at the end of each of the first and third 9 weeks, ostensibly, where students will be out of school, that the teachers could have meetings to discuss progress with parents.
So y'all's teacher work days read is early release, is that?
Yes, sir, and you can see that we have fairly lengthy fall break and also a break in February. There's a break each month. Mr. Dowling will be able to better expound upon this next month, but this is just sharing with you so you'll know what's coming. This will be presented to the board next month. The Lee County Education Foundation has a website. I'd like to have you look at that. Ms. Jennifer's going to pull that up. It's LeeCountyEducationFoundation.com if anyone would like to look at it. Now, I'm going to make a qualifier here. It does not look as good on this big giant screen as it does on your personal device or laptop. This was developed by some Lee County alumni of a company called Brockfield. And we're very pleased that they met with the foundation board last week. It's still in progress, but anyone can go and look at it. And
It's coming.
It's coming. Takes longer on the big screen. You have of course you could pull it up on your personal device there if you
It
want.
looks so much better on your-
EducationFoundation.com. Yep, that's actually Lee County. That's a aerial view, and as you scroll down, there's a place for people to go online and donate goals. an about page. And if you're going down, Jennifer, just to the picture of the old two-story building at the bottom, and then if you'll go back up and click on the meet our board, just so they can see that. So this is our board of directors, and there's a brief bio on each one of them. Really pleased with the work done by Broxfield. This has been very well done, and we have a lot of great ideas, I think, to help build this foundation up so that we can support our students and our teachers.
That's the 501c3 then?
Yes, sir, they do have 501c3 status, and so any donations made to the foundation are tax deductible, and they are had a soft launch back at the beginning of the school year that we want to create another opportunity for that as we move forward. Also, you have a copy before you of a one-page flyer. It's back in front that we've developed. We're going to use these at the Chambers Eggs and Issues breakfast, and then also take them when we go and recruit in colleges for teachers. But on that left side on the back, there's some information about the foundation. So we think this is going to be a good thing for our students. It'll give us another avenue to come alongside our schools and assist the teachers and take care of our children. So that's all I have for the reports.
All right. Moving on to discussion and action items. First item on the list is talking about our SPLOST that's upcoming and what those priorities might look like.
Yes, sir. In your packet, we have a paperclip set of items related to the SPLOST. There's a copy of an email from Dr. Robert Clay concerning SPLOST 6, and I know you've gotten that on your personal email, but I wanted to make sure you had a hard copy so that the board can take that into consideration as we move forward. You also have a copy from JCI contractors of estimated costs for some of the projects in SPLOST. And you can see that. You can see that there's quite a bit of money to do these projects. I talked to Jack Lloyd from JCI last week. They developed these. They worked with Mr. Franklin Rash, Mr. Gary Kelly. We've got some estimates from some subcontractors to put this together. These kind of things tend to err on the high side, so that's probably why you see that number before you. And the cost of the projects is estimated, according to their estimate, $19 million. Now, we have some state participation money. Gary talked to Mr. Leonard McCoy from the Georgia Department of Education, and we're going to earn about $2 million in state funding for the remodel of Lee County Primary School. When a school is more than 20 years old, you earn state participation, so that's going to help defray some of the costs of that project. We had a similar situation with Lee County High School's remodel, and also upgrades that we made to Kinch Community Primary School in our previous SPLOST. So that is good news. And then there's what is the proper term, Gary? State participation.
That's state participation.
State participation.
And there's some value engineering that can lower that amount.
Right, and we do believe with that, between all those things, we can meet our needs that we have. I've asked some of our staff to share with the board concerning potential SPLOST projects. And so tonight we'll hear from Ms. Debbie Devane, principal of Lee County Primary School, Kervin Davis, head boys basketball coach, Ms. Donna Jones, assistant athletic director and cheer coach at Lee County High School, and then Mr. Brian Trevette, the head baseball coach. So I'm going to call on them at this time. Ms. Debbie gets to lead off to talk about the needs we have at Lee Primary School. That school opened in 1987.
86, 87
Yep.
was first school year. I'm gonna give y'all just a list of what, I met with Mr. Rash, he's probably tired of seeing me, talking to me. Just to give you a list of the things we talked about. As you know, it opened in 86, 87, and basically there haven't been any real renovations since. We got a new wing in 2007. There's been a carpet taken out one time and put down, and then we got tile floors. But basically, I'm just gonna start and go down the list. We need to upgrade lighting, ceilings, flooring. Our cabinets, we've looked at them in the kindergarten and first grade classrooms. They look bad. The front of them's peeling off. They're just old cabinets. And we need additional water fountains in the hallways. Each hallway has one small water fountain for each grade level. Second grade, when they put the new wing in, it has 2 small ones. But when you bring, 40 at a time, go out to recess and they come in, it's just, if we could get some additional nicer that serves, more children at one time. It put on here, resurf the roof. I think in the price they did replace the roof, but, me and Mr. Rash had talked about that. He was talking about resurfacing it. Refurbish all bathrooms. The bathrooms need to be ADA compliant, and, they're very small and they are not ADA compliant. The one in the teacher workroom, I don't know if you've ever been in it, but you about have to do a balancing act to get in those bathrooms to go to the adults do. So it's sort of, that's really bad there. Our exterior doors need replacing. They have gaps in them, probably 1/2 inch to 1 inch, which is, not energy efficient. Our interior classroom doors need security hardware. Teachers have to use a key to lock the door now from the outside. So if it was an emergency, basically they keep it locked, and we try to put a little mechanism on there or at the top so that they could grab that out in a hurry, but they have to lock them from the outside, and that is a safety issue. Along with all this, you would need to update the electrical, clean, prime, paint all walls. Some of this is some wants from others, but gutters over the porches, and anytime it's raining and anybody's doing duty, they get wet because it comes all right off the roof onto them. Repave parking lots, redesign the front driveway to alleviate congestion on Magnolia, which we've worked hard on that, and thankfully the new sidewalk we got has helped. We have about 8 people out there in the morning on duty, and try to run it as fast as we can to alleviate that congestion. But in the afternoon, it's a hard thing to do because you can't let kids line up all the way down the sidewalk in the afternoon. Air condition upgrade there, HVAC. There have been quite a few of those replaced over the years. I've watched it, but they're old systems in there. Of course, all along updates would be the fire alarm system, the intercom system. The kitchen renovations and upgrades, that's basically paint, ceiling, and lights in there, no equipment or anything. And then, of course, I'm gonna go on, and as leader of Lee County Primary, I wanna look out for the future of it. And space is a huge issue for us. I don't have any extra. I have 1 extra classroom that serves as my meeting room, my conference room, my picture room, everything. And our media center is small, and so I've been thinking about this a long time, and it would be nice to have a multi-purpose room put off the back, even if it was like a Butler building with just carpet used for physical education. Extended day program, a building, Ms. Van Clem. I talked to Mr. Rash about extending the building, the PE room, but we have an electrical room that is the storage room also, and you can only go out the back of the school. But our PE facility is 1,383 square feet smaller than KPS with the same amount of kids. And so I'm just looking at the future growth in our media center. I would love to take it and have another PE facility. Nothing special, carpet, the office, storage building, storage room, that's all. And move our media center into there where we'd have more room. In our media center, I have to bring in 40 chairs every time we have a faculty meeting. It's crowded, there's no tables. And you know, these are huge wants and dreams, but I think as down the line, there's no extra classrooms, you know, except for that one, and I just wanna think about the space of Lee County Primary School for the future. I mean, it'll be there forever, but down the line, there's gonna be, continue to be growth. And then I have on here redesign spaces to be more functional. If that wasn't to work, redesign like the media center so that it would be more functional. I did that fast, didn't I? Y'all have any questions?
Was the multi-purpose, the wish at the end,
Yeah.
was it included in JCI's proposal?
Debbie, when
But
they,
their roof was at $22 a foot, and there's an option at $7 a foot. So that includes a big number on the roof.
How bad is the roof? I mean, if you resurface it,
We've done some attempts to stop it from leaking, but it's leaked from the beginning, from what I understand. I know it's leaked for 25 years down here, and stuff, and we've worked, and we've never been able to get it resurfaced.
They're the same spots. They're probably like in the same place for all those years. I mean, it's just certain spots in the roof that's trying to be
Will you
fixed.
say a word about the restrooms in the classrooms? I know the teachers were showing me when I was over there
Yeah.
one day, so.
They're just really, the floors are bad. They smell. We don't have any like hallway bathrooms that are more than one, and there's some in the gym, in the PE facility, but they don't really go in there and use them for PE, but like, in the hallways, we just have a boys and girls, and they split it in between, but they're just not in good shape. They're just small, and they've got to be refinished, redone, because they've just been there since 1986.
Debbie, when they built the school, there was one drinking fountain on the kindergarten, first grade hall, and one. We split it. Is it still split to where two kids can get water at one time? That still is not sufficient.
No, there's
They
just
went back and
one.
replaced those?
There's one on the kindergarten hall and one child can drink. There's one on the first grade hall and one child at a time. And then you go to the new wing, the second grade, and there's two. And just the same thing down, there's one down by the cafeteria, in between those two bathrooms.
But Franklin, didn't we replace that with a double? I mean, was there not enough pressure? Because at one time, you know, we had the single and we went to a double in that hallway, the kindergarten, first grade hallway. Was there not enough pressure for the two drinking fountains?
I don't remember us doing that, but the only thing I remember is us we put the drinking adapters on the sinks in the classrooms.
Right, I remember that.
And some of them still have those, but not a lot of them.
That's probably been taken down.
Okay, I just remember
I
that,
can't
that
remember.
we replaced that and we put two, but there was only one pipe still coming, so it might have been a pressure issue. But it's still not sufficient for the number on that hallway, it is not. You're
Are
right.
they in the hallways or they recessed?
They're in the hall.
They in the hall.
They stick
They
out.
protrude out.
So we would have to recess them, because you can't have them, under the new thing, the fire code, you couldn't, the kids wouldn't be able to hit them.
Yeah.
So that'll have to be,
There's one in the gym like that too, in the PE room.
any other questions? Thank you.
Good, thank y'all.
Next, we'll have, Mr. Kervin Davis, our head boys basketball coach and PE teacher.
Good
So
evening.
he can-
Good evening.
I had this elaborate speech, whatever you call it, but on the way here, I had a speech about all the things I wanted, and I thought we needed for basketball and all that good stuff. But on the way right there, coming down from Albany, I saw the family sign again. So it just erased everything in my mind that I had, and it put it all in perspective. It should be about the family portion of it, and that's the children. So instead of this gym, I'm thinking PE facility, something that could, that would serve all of our kids. Imagine a gym with 130 kids, and then 10 special need kids in there, and we have to try to maneuver those kids around without getting hurt and all that. A facility would provide something for adaptive PE, where they would have their own area and it would be safe. Because every time my special need kids come in the gym, I'm like, hope the ball don't hit anybody, or nobody has a shit seizure or somebody fall or something like that. On game nights, if you ever been to a basketball game, we don't have a clear entrance. If there's basketball going on and something going in the auditorium, it's just all one flow, and that could prevent some safety issues at times. Coming from the schools that I came from, our gym facility has been well kept, but it's extremely small. And as far as accommodating the growth in the 7 years I've been here, we kind of squeezed in there. We have personal fitness classes during the day. The chorus, I feel sorry for our chorus teacher, because I know my whistle and my voice overshadows his class. So, in a nutshell, my concern is the children having the experience that will be unforgettable. Because I coach sports and you see guys, I don't know if you guys remember a classmate or two that you had that might still wear that Letterman jacket at 45 years old. Because for a lot of kids, that's the last time that they felt like they were somebody, or they were important. So if you have these kind of facilities, not just a gym, the kid can stick their chest out and be proud of where they participate, where they have their classes. Personally, I think that's the big picture, because just for the short time I've been here, our athletic programs have exceeded with what we have to work with, if that makes sense. Football, great facility in their program, shows that baseball has a great facility. And as we move through the building, we get down to our little area. But I thought it was only right that we be just as successful. So this year we made history. So that kind of helps us with the first team in Lee County history to break the top 10. Even the state championship team did not do that until after they won it. So we were regular season number 6 in the state. And those kind of things that some of those kids will never forget that. So we can bring together this beautiful facility that will benefit all of the children, and truly have this, truly live and stand behind the signs that I see around family. And we can incorporate all of our kids and all of our programs, and everybody kind of have that same feeling of pride. I think it would be awesome. I apologize if I went off my 5 minutes.
I have a question for you. What can you not do in the current gym today?
Technically, we cannot host a state playoff event. We have since I've been here, but by rule or law, we're supposed to accommodate a certain amount.
As far as other sports, what can they not
Other
do?
sports, you got volleyball. That's a big hazard. If you ever been to a volleyball game, we have to push all the bleachers in, and the kids are up top. So, if a kid fall or something like that, then we juggling with wrestling, pep rallies, and testing, and also does a lot of wear and tear on the floor. And we're kind of getting down. I think the last time we resurfaced, kind of getting down to it's getting pretty thin. We can't keep resurfacing it. So it's those just little cosmetic things and forward-thinking kind of stuff. Because I'm not into the decision-making part of it. I'm just speaking for the kids for the most part. So if anybody have any questions?
I got a couple questions. What would you do with the old gym? Could it be used to house some
As an
special
auxiliary
needs?
gym.
I mean, like backed up, wet,
Mhm.
and
You could
special
do
needs
middle
kids.
school, you could do wrestling, you could do cheer competition, you could do a lot of stuff, because we juggling wrestling, and Coach Matheny, we do a great job of working with each other on that. We juggle wrestling, when volleyball comes in, if everybody have to get out for volleyball because they require the whole floor.
And 2,000 square feet, we're sure that's adequate with projections of what we have and things like that. I mean, we should be
Coming
coming
back
back.
in 5 more years saying our gym's too small, should we?
Com-
I mean, that's what.
Compare it to some gyms around us and size wise.
Herman, do you know size is better?
I don't
Did you
have
do that?
actual numbers, but ours is based on a middle school format, a high school gym.
I'm talking about the current that we're talking about.
The new,
The new, or the not current, I'm sorry.
Well, that number
Proposed.
was just, he used it for an estimate.
Yeah.
I think if we were able to do this, we would have to talk to people like Coach Davis and volleyball coach and get what do we need, and then we go from there. But I will say, if you go to another high school our size, typically they have 3 courts in their gym, and we have 2. And they're sideways. I'm talking about 3 lengthwise, like the varsity court. We have 2 sideways, so.
The 50,000 is no set amount.
That was something I gave JCI to use as an amount to come with an estimate, because he had to have some basis for it. So I told him to look at Colquitt County's gym, and I think that may be the size of that one.
I mean, I don't know, I'm asking, I just don't wanna,
5 more years, so we all agree that this one,
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever, make sure we're looking at it.
The other thing, and he didn't address it, is
When he's coaching, you can't, the fans have to walk
Yeah.
beside him to get to
there's
the.
no room for bleachers.
And the kids can't sit on 2 rows.
The student section, if you fill that gym at capacity playoff in your student section, your students are often right in the middle of the action and have to kind of be separated back. How many, on a typical day, how many students come through that gym?
138 per class.
Per class times each period?
That's excluding the personal fitness classes. We don't have to have those on the outside. So it can be close to about 180 kids easily.
Now, at any point, since we have, the complex, the field house, there is a half a practice field over there. Is that used in any way? We're talking about the gym, but we've got a large area that's in the field house. Are you able to, I realize the ceilings are not tall for volleyball and everything, but it is like the PE rooms that we have at the primary school and Kitchvenny and the primary school. Is that incorporated so that, you have an overflow area where you can work with these kids? Or is that just,
That's more or less a weight training facility.
but not that part, the part that is open over there that is, if it's raining outside, they can bring the football team into this, not the weights, the area that is just open over there.
But we don't normally go down.
But
No,
could you?
No, I'm sure we probably could.
Because, there are certain times where certainly that they would use those, but it can't be the entire day, that they would use that. You could schedule a portion of the day to where some fundamentals could go on over there. And, I'm just thinking of, using the entire facility, and yes, I've come to some of your ball games, and yes, I've measured the seats. And I did go to the GSHA work, the whole page. Amazingly enough, there is a set amount of space required for seating at the football game, but guess what? Not at basketball. So I measured that seat, and it is about 18 inches. The maximum occupancy of that gym is 1,600. Now, I'm not exactly sure, where they got that number, and I'm not sure what we would have to do to make changes in that facility so that we could actually, because I counted the seats, 1,144. I counted them. Now, I know that some of those would go to the players. I realized that there were some scorekeepers over there that would probably sit in a few of those. But we're like 56 seats short of the 1,200 to be able to host a state tournament. You know, I mean, my thought is, I mean, it's a whale of a lot of money to build, you know, another complete facility. The wall could go out, you know, and enlarge so that you would have more seating if that is kind of an issue. I don't know what our options are, but, you know, in all my thinking, you know, since we came up with this lost and the different ideas, you know, my thought is, what are we doing with that area over in, you know, the field house? What are we doing, you know, what could we do with our current gym so that we could keep it if they're saying that we can put 1,600 people in there and we don't have to do anything about it?
Now,
You know?
on the football facility, there's a safety issue. If they're in there lifting heavy weights and we have balls or anything like that, a ball roll of anything could trigger an injury. So you kinda gotta be mindful of that, because in the PE class, we are using balls and things like that. But then when you come back to the gym area, our gym, since I've been there, has been changed bleachers, so the seating might not be same to that capacity right there, because we missed some aisles, because they didn't match up with the court, the way the court was painted. The court was painted to match the original bleacher format, so our X is all off center because it didn't match. Basically, we changed our seating from wood to that plastic stuff to, you know, to give it an upgraded look. And so that is, the dilemma is flow. We don't really flow well. And not, to me, it's not just basketball, it's that course, that the fact that we don't have an entrance. And with everybody, if you can be at that in between a game, it can get really scary, especially to ladies who will come out, and teenagers are not as respectful as they used to be. So having some room and in PE time, when you have the special need kids that come in, that is my greatest fear. That one of those kids get hurt, not intentionally, but just from being on top of each other, so to speak. That's just my opinion.
Okay, and I understand that, and I know that, that the school on Fire Tower is an old high school. And so it met a lot of the qualifications because it was built, you know, for a high school. And actually, Coach Watts won, you know, I mean, that's where he played, and he won the state championship game, and everything was great and wonderful. But, you know, I mean, we've got facilities. If we wanted to, for example, we've got tennis playing out here, so the kids are traveling from the high school over here to play tennis. They travel, you know, over to the track, you know, and you're smiling. And they travel to play soccer over in the new area. So if we needed to find another place to put the volleyball, I mean, we've got other gyms to include the 9th grade campus. The 9th grade campus is, I know it's domed. I mean, is there any kind of metalwork up in there that would preclude volleyball from anyway, what I was saying was, you know, there might be other options. I mean, everybody doesn't have to participate in that one gym. You know, you actually can go to another facility within the school system and practice the volleyball or play volleyball games, just like we do.
I can speak to that. The 9th grade gym does have standards, and we can put the nets up in the 9th grade gym. However, you can't play games there because you have to have 6 feet from the back line of the court for the player to be able to serve, and there's not 6 feet from the line when the bleachers are pushed in. There still is not 6 feet from the back line of the court to the end of the bleachers. So yes, they use it for practice if they need to, but you can't host games because it doesn't meet regulations.
Okay, they could practice.
They could practice, but you would like for your kids to have the adequate size to learn how to serve and to, you know, to have the right playing area. It's very hard to serve in a 3-foot space.
What are the drawbacks when you play volleyball in the new gym, well, not the new gym, but the high school gym as it is, when it's set for it?
There's a big game and everybody's there.
Well, I have lots of stuff. I'm sorry.
You're done. No, I'm just-
Can I just start?
Tag, you're in.
Sorry, Herman. Can I just start from so I can, okay. Okay, so hello, I'm Donna. I'm a veteran teacher, 35 years experience, 32 years I've been in Lee County, 25 years I've been at the high school. The first graduating class in the current building had 235 graduates. Our current class has 426. Right now we have 528 freshmen. Our enrollment has doubled since this building, our current building, opened in 1992-93 school year. When I began at high school, I was one of 4 special ed teachers. Now I'm one of 11. Our school has grown. And with the increase in enrollment, almost every part of the high school has been upgraded and enlarged. The cafeteria, the fine arts area, we added the new band facility that's there now, and the expansion of the fine arts storage area. Many classrooms have been added, and then recently with the addition of the new multi-purpose room, the lecture hall, the classrooms, the weight room, the training room, and the football locker room. The only area left to be upgraded to match enrollment is the gym area. Currently, our PE classes are maxed out every period, which causes our students to have to dress out in shifts because our dressing rooms are too small to accommodate the number of students in our classes. If you've been to the high school during the school day, most days you'll see PE classes working out in the hallway, which probably makes Mr. Bunce's job a little more difficult because his music classroom is on the same hallway with the gym, which is, Kervin mentioned that. We haven't been able to add any new physical education courses like intro to athletic training or recreational games because we just don't have anywhere else to put any of these classes. We have students who require physical and occupational therapy during the school day. Currently, this therapy is taking place in the clothes closet in our cafeteria. A new gym area would include additional space for a training or therapy area. We currently don't have space to hold our entire student body for assemblies or pep rallies. We have not been able to have a 9 through 12 high school event in several years due to lack of space. We cannot hold grade level testing. So when we test, we have to test all over the building, which causes concern for exceptions. AP testing is the same. They're overlapping and we're testing all over the building because we don't have the areas large enough to house our students. In 2015, volleyball participation nationwide surpassed basketball, and we have a super strong volleyball program. Volleyball matches usually are 3 or 4 teams, so it requires 2 nets. In our current gym, when we pull out 2 nets, the bleachers can't be pulled out to accommodate seating for spectators. So our spectators are bringing chairs or they're climbing to the top of the bleachers and watching from the top of the bleachers, which is a safety hazard for not only our players with all the chairs that the fans are bringing in, but also to our fans. Beginning in late October, early November, we have 11 high school teams that require indoor space for practice. We currently only have 3 on-campus practice spaces: the 9th grade gym, the high school gym, the multi-purpose room. Riflery, game day cheer, and dance all use the multi-purpose room. Often, in-season sports practices are canceled due to lack of space. For example, right now, the multi-purpose room is being used for registration. So teams can't get into the space due to the number of tables and chairs required for registration. It's a juggling act to come up with space for all teams to have for adequate practice time and space to be competitive. This does not even include overlapping sports or outdoor sports that often need indoor space due to inclement weather. Our gym is just not adequate to accommodate our growing athletic programs. Basketball games are now an event. Our game attendance is at an all-time high. When visitors come to our school for basketball, they struggle to determine where to park, where to enter, where to pay. All areas are congested. The concession stand, the hall outside the gym, and seating is at a premium inside the gym. People walk in front of our players in the score table throughout the game. I've even seen visitors sitting on the bench with our players because there's nowhere else to sit. Crowds exceed capacity at some games. Not only does this bring up safety concerns, but it's costly because we have to add additional resource officers. And you can imagine how these struggles are increased when multiple events are being held. For example, a basketball game and an event in the theater or the auditorium. Visitors are confused about where to pay, who gets the concession stand. Our need for a new gym is just great. Many of our athletic teams have costly equipment. The basketball and volleyball equipment is currently stored in the back of the gym unsecured. We need more storage for this equipment. So really, in closing, I'm just hoping that when you're discussing SPLOS, that a new gym is at the top of your list. Our students deserve the area that they can be proud of and an area that helps meet the needs of our growing school. That's what I have. Questions?
Any questions at all?
I mean, we're already traveling all over the county to accommodate practices. We already are trying to, I mean, just this week, because of the registration, dance is working with the Middle School West. They've got activities going on to get in, so because they have a competition this weekend. Game Day Cheer is going to East because they have a competition coming up. Riflery, you know, soccer because of the weather. I mean, our problem is space.
So I have another question, because every time y'all talk, I have one question. Again, you said it's based on 50,000 square foot, it would need more research and to look into it. What I keep hearing is you need another multi-purpose gym, not just a gym.
Well, the good thing
You need
is if
something
we,
for a lot of stuff.
right, if we
would look into that.
if we built a new gym, I would hope that we would build something that was state of the art, that had multiple courts with, you know, dividers maybe through them so that several teams could practice at the same time. I think that having our kids hang out till 5:30 and 6 o'clock so that they can practice and not getting home till 7:30, 8:30 every night is difficult on students. So if we added a gym and we did it right, we would have the additional gym, we would have our current gym that could become another multi-purpose.
With classroom instruction and things, facility
Yes.
if needed also,
Yes.
would be capable of that.
Yes.
But I would like to add to what she just said about to going later. Amanda's my daughter's senior year, the boys went at 5:30 one week, and the girls went in the afternoon. The next week, the girls went at 5:30 in the morning. I really didn't feel
It's still
safe
that
with
way.
my daughter driving to school at 5:30 in the morning, and how it affected her schoolwork.
You know, and as a cheer coach, I've been told numerous times, well, you could just have them come back. Well, they're 16 years old, they're new drivers. I don't want them coming back in the dark. And a lot of them live over on the other side of town. That just is not a safe, I just don't see that as a safe option. I think that we have an opportunity to provide something that will meet so many needs, and I just hope that we'll do it, that we'll take this opportunity. And I mean, obviously the primary school needs some upgrades. We understand that. These buildings get old, but our student body is growing. From where we started in 1993 at this current building, we are double. And we didn't, you know, we've upgraded everything. I mean, we are so proud when somebody comes to visit our school, what's the first thing we do? We take them down to the new facilities that were just added. We show them our lecture hall. We show them the multi-purpose room. We show them the locker room. We show them that new facility. We're so proud of it. I want to be able to do the same thing on the other end of the building. I mean, we don't even have anywhere for our trainers to go during basketball games. They are working with our kids out in the hallway. There's, you know, we don't even have, there's just things that we are a 6A school. And we need to, I just feel like it's time for us to provide this facility for our high school so that we can be world-class, be top of the game where we are. So,
When was the last time we hosted a cheer competition?
1999,
Because of,
size.
yes, and, we have one of the best cheer programs in the
And the
state.
South,
and,
yeah.
And can you speak about, I know when I was the elementary principal, Miss Donna would come over to Twin Oaks and practice in our atrium with
Yep.
the girls, cause there was no space. Of course, that was before the multi-purpose building,
Right.
but even with that building, we've added game day cheer, elite dance, and, we're currently looking into adding a gymnastics program. We've had a lot of parent, interest in that, so as we,
Yeah, and
if we're gonna
personally-
get bigger.
Right, personally, our problem is, we can't, our sport requires mats, and they're pretty hefty, and you can't just go, oh, today we're gonna practice over here, because those mats have to be transferred, they are required, GHS requires us to be on mats, we cannot do our stunts, do our tumbling unless we're on the correct surface, which we don't want, we don't want our kids to do things that are not safe. But it's not as simple as just moving your practice to another facility, because you have to have your equipment. And to speak about, you're talking about the turf area in the new weight room. That's the area you're talking about. That area is used throughout the day. We have weight training classes that are in there, I think every single period. I know that we use it, we have a body sculpting class 7th period. And so that area is used throughout the day, every day. So I feel like all of our spaces in the building are being used just about the maximum capacity. So I don't know, I think you were saying, could we move some PE classes down into that area? And, I think that maybe is something to look at, but that space is really not as big, it's only a 30-yard. It's not huge. I'll put it this way, only 2 of our cheer mats will fit on it, and our cheer mats are 7 by 42. And we can put two mats, and if we put the third, it rolls up on the side. So we've used that area. I mean, we're trying to use every area that we have access to for the many activities that we have. We have 11 indoor sports right now. So, in wrestling, they're struggling with, where to host their events. So it's been.
And they cannot put out their mats, we have some new mats that were purchased for them, and they can't, they're limited on their space.
Right.
For the mats.
Right.
And to your point, that was a good point you made, what I've seen in the research is schools are looking at, it's called a field house concept, where it's, like you described, it has volleyball, basket, it can handle multiple different activities, PE of course, so.
I'd love to see us do something like Peachtree Ridge. Have you ever been to Peachtree Ridge High School? They have, a bowl concept gym. So the gym floor is on the bottom, then the seating is up, everything is around the top. Think about a walking track. And then right off, all the concessions, everything is upstairs, and then right off of their gym is an auxiliary gym that holds, I can only speak for mat purposes, 3 sets of cheer mats, which are 7 mats, so 7 6-foot mats by 42, so it's 42 by 42, it's a square. So they can hold 3 full sets of mats, and that is right off the upstairs, and then behind that is a wrestling room that holds a full set of mats. Peachtree Ridge can do it, we can do it.
Where are they located?
That's,
Gwinnett County.
a little bit.
Do what?
Have you been in Bainbridge?
I have been to Bainbridge's gym.
Similar, sort of, same
Mhm.
concept.
Yes.
Any other
Yeah,
questions?
Colquitt County's gym. I haven't been to Valdosta's new gym, but I hear it's very nice as well.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other
Thank
questions?
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And Coach, Brian Trevette, share a few words about baseball.
Yes, sir. So this is kind of the dream list here. Went over to Dr. Miller. JCI was out the other day and went through several of these very well. So, anyway, I'm Brian Trevette, I'm the head baseball coach. Been in Lee County now for 14 years, with the baseball program the whole time. The second year is the head coach. So first of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you. Thanks to Dr. Miller for the invite. The baseball program in Lee County, when I moved here, didn't know what in the world we're getting into, but knew right away that the legacy of winning is second to none. Definitely the most consistent program, athletic program we've had in Lee County, bar none, even without that state championship, what we're striving for. As Donna said, the upgrades have been everywhere. They've been everywhere, with exception of the baseball facility and the gym. Those are the two things that just haven't really been touched much. We're very thankful we finally got a bathroom attached to our dugout, which is a game changer, right? I mean, that's a big one for us. And also a little extra storage space. And so our guys were so excited we could move everything out of the old storage room into the new little area that we scrounged together and found some old lockers and made a little makeshift, in a real damp and dreary little bitty room, right? They got a little locker room and they are loving it, right? Even though it's not nice, but they've got something of their own. We have right now 9 through 12, there's 53 players and we don't have a place to change. Our guys are out in the old bullpen area or in the dugout getting undressed and changing. And that's something that needs to be addressed. That's not right for that to occur on a daily basis, right? We have the middle school teams, they come out as well in the fall and occasionally in the spring, and we've got 7th and 8th graders changing in the dugouts or behind just in the grass, right? And that's something that definitely I believe needs to be addressed. Our facilities compared to just about every place in Georgia are subpar. You go to a place like Bainbridge, whose history of winning baseball is not good, and it is a stellar facility. Colquitt County is gorgeous. You go to the Atlanta area schools, and of course, you know what we're getting into. We had a big bat infestation last year in our press box. During the game, there's bats flying around with people trying to bounce.
Not a baseball bat.
No, flying mammals, right? And they're all over the place, and we're trying to, they're buzzing your head as you're, in the dugout. Every time it rains, our back room gets flooded. All that water washes straight in there, and so we got to make sure you look at the forecast and get everything up high before it rains, because it'll ruin everything. So the goals here: number one, new large home dugout on the first base side would be awesome. Colquitt County's dugouts are kind of what we were looking at when we met with JCI the other day. Connected to a large locker room with coach's office, restrooms, uniform, equipment storage area. Right now we're storing our uniforms. It's up, it's in an attic area above where the robotics team works, right? And it is up in this, I don't even know how to explain where it's at in the high school, but we have bins up there and stairs that are like this to try to get all our bins up and down to supply our guys with uniforms. And again, it's kind of self-explanatory there, but just kind of a big upgrade, for our dugouts, a nice locker room, place to change, and a place for our guys to, be together. Move the press box from where it is now on top of the home dugout back behind home plate, so the people that are announcing and keeping score can see the whole field, right? Because right now you can't see down the left field line from our current press box. And in the bottom of the press box, we have concessions and fan restrooms, right? Which is kind of pretty much what everyone has today. And then looking at long-term cost savings, I've pushed for turf, like the football field, have turf. Either just in the infield and down the sides in foul territory, or the whole thing. I mean, the amount of time our grounds guys work on that baseball field weekly, especially once it gets warm in that grass, they're out there for hours a week, and they've got so much in the district to take care of. That could be a big savings for them too, give them more time. Save us a lot of work buying dirt and all the different things that go into it that nobody sees. That would definitely be good for us. Chairback seating behind home plate off of the concessions. Some cleaner bleachers, upgrade our fence, a new scoreboard, and then the rest here, just some basic stuff there. One thing also, we have the dumpster for the high school sit right in center field. And it stinks. In May and in April, it literally stinks out there. I was dragging the warning track today and looking, and there was just trash all over the grounds, right behind our fence.
That's
It's
why
just,
I smell it.
it's not a good look. It is not a good look. And so, you know, that's just something, you know, just to let you know how what's going on out there. But anyway, you know, this opportunity to actually be on the SPLOST, hopefully, is a real honor, because there's a lot of guys that coached this program before me who are just the whiff of this possibly occurring, and they are absolutely thrilled to death. I mean, Coach Williams is, I mean, he can't barely sit still. You know, Coach Brock is, I mean, he can't believe it. He's like, no. So yeah, I think it may happen. You know, so you know, this is an excellent opportunity, and I hope that we can upgrade these facilities and continue this legacy of winning. You know, that's extremely important to me and important to this community. So that's what I got.
I have a question, comment. I actually was at your practice this afternoon
Yes,
before
sir.
I came here, and I was talking to some dads, and they were sitting out there where the dumpsters are, and they knew we were doing this SPLOST, and they were like, well, what does Coach Trevette want? And I kind of already knew your wish list from last year, or Dr. Miller gave it to me, and they had some comments and questions, concerns, and I kind of thought they were valid, so I'm gonna bring them up.
Sure.
I, like Ms. Jones said, do believe our entrances and exits to our athletic facilities are chaotic. I think walking into that football game, that area is, I don't know, I've never seen another facility like it. But we're working with what we got. But if you were to, and I don't want these questions to think these were guys bringing that up. If you were to build all that, that would kind of clutter that area even more, the entrance to the football game. So they were saying, do we own property out back there behind the football field? Are there, is there not enough for baseball? There were football.
It's a wetland.
Oh, is
It's
it?
very wet. We've got some renderings of what you could do with that to tie all of that in and clean it up and
Yeah,
segregate it out long-range plans.
So I mean, if Lee County's growing like Ms. Jones said they are, where's the parking lot gonna be when the high school needs a bigger parking lot? Is it gonna be where the baseball field is currently, or is it gonna be somewhere else? I mean, do we need to look at putting a baseball facility somewhere else?
JCI gave us a price on, Mr. Hill, the band director, has asked that their practice area be paved, and that would provide additional parking
Okay.
for the gymnasium if it comes to fruition. But they want, what he has seen in other school systems is they pave an area and actually paint the football stripes on it, so that right now the band has to wait till football practice is over to go down to practice. You know,
I
I
got you.
stand here at this point during the show at halftime, and so they could do that, and then we would have it as parking for games, other events. So that would.
They were just suggesting moving the baseball field to do something else. I was like, I don't know, I'd bring it up now.
We
But-
actually, you know, discussed that, and that would be very costly to start from scratch, but we could, you know, dreaming big, we could repurpose the dungeon down here and turn it back into.
Well, no, I mean, I know I've been watching baseball for years, and every place I go to, the dungeon there, I see about 6 kids in their boxers every time I'm there, because they're just changing in the dugouts on the field, like he said. I mean, the bleachers out there in center field right now are how they need some cleaning, and there is trash. The maintenance people are in and out back there while y'all are playing. I mean, I'm not that familiar. I don't go to cheer competitions, but my kid does play baseball, so I'm just a little more familiar with it. But no, those are just things Dad's brought up,
Sure.
and I was just asking those questions. I don't know if it's the right thing.
They worked on the drainage on the field before the last SPLOST. What is the drainage like? Is
It's
it going back? Is it working?
it's a little better. I mean, all that pavement that's on the school side, all that water runs right through the field, right through our dugout. And there's no drainage at all. They put in some drain tiles and resodded the infield, whatever it was, 5-6 years ago, whatever. And I mean, maybe marginally better draining on the actual surface, but the outfield still gets wet down the right field line pretty bad. So.
The turf that you mentioned is not included in JCI's estimate. Do you have any idea?
Looking at the research, we were in Nashville at the American Baseball Coach Association when I met with the turf guys at Vanderbilt and Georgia and some other awesome softball and baseball.
The same field?
Same field.
Any idea what maintenance cost they save by having that? I mean, you know, from the football field, it's been tremendous. I don't know.
They didn't mention maintenance costs.
I would imagine the savings is very.
Sure, I would assume it would be over time, for sure. And, time spent fixing the field and everything too, and that's we spend over an hour every day before and after practice, maintaining.
If you could use it for 2 fields, you take away the maintenance completely off of it.
You start looking up and get some benefits on your injuries, I think
Sure.
it's sprain, knee turns.
I mean, you could use that field in for Special Olympics, you could use it for all kinds of different things. You know, if it's turf, I mean, you can beat it up as much as you want, it's gonna stay the same.
Coach Duvet,
Yes,
what,
ma'am.
the former locker room that the football players, what is it being used for now?
The ninth grade football use it.
They use it and they store all of their equipment and
Yes.
everything in there. Is there any room in there for you all so that you can go in there? I mean, is there any
As of now, a lot of it, there's football coaches that have stuff on half of it. Soccer's over there right now a lot because the soccer field's too wet, and they're using that as their changing space because it's right next to the field. And so there's really not much as of now that we can really do with that.
Could we add on to that and include it so that you all could have a place where you could store your equipment and you could change? Because, you know, the location's right next to the baseball field.
Sure, it is. Just thinking, like every other place we go to, you know, you have it attached to your dugout. You know, so you can go in and out, you know, make quick changes. You don't have to walk through the crowd to go, you know, to go get whatever. And that was kind of you know, for years, you know, you had to use the restroom or
You're
what
right.
else, trying to get through there and get back. It just,
The kids weren't doing it last year, they were actually going in the dark and
Right.
twisting their ankles because they didn't want to run through the.
we lost our starting center fielder in the last series of the region. He's going to go to the restroom in the dark and bust his ankle in a hole, and you know, lost him for a week. So,
Any other questions, Coach? Thank you very much.
I appreciate y'all for having me. Thank you.
Any comments from the board or?
Well, I mean, if the board wants to talk about it, I mean.
I would just like to see that rendering Claire spoke of. I really think that area is congested. And it's just, I mean, of all the facilities y'all mentioned I've been to, they're state of the art. I mean, they're nice, and we're like walking into, like entering to me from an alley, is what I feel like. And you've got the cafeteria, power plant right there, you've got, you know, I think we could just, I would like, before we start building a bunch of stuff there, I think we need to work on, or include that in
It's the
some
one
way.
about the associates.
It was, SRJ actually had the most.
There was three different ones.
Bud
Just
was
three
all-
different
who was the
reds.
guy in Hayhire?
That's the group.
And the gym, the same way, I mean, how to enter and exit that, I would like to, I mean, something nice.
The
Vision.
Just like to add that, you know, if you add the primary school renovation and a gym, if the gym was the second,
You're done?
we're done. I'm sorry, but Mr. Trevette,
There we go.
I know.
Well,
So is this in a rank? I mean, what's your?
No,
rank?
I'm just saying, but you, typically when you do a SPOS project, your big dollar ticket items need to be first and not last, because then you come back and you ain't got any money to do what you wanted to do. So if you put the smaller dollar items, if they're more important to you, then that's fine. But there was one time that we put playground equipment first and some other things, and then when we did our renovation of the high school, we didn't have the money to do the renovation of the high school, and we were cutting everything back to get in the money that we had.
And then you get into a problem years later of why something's not big enough or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gary, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I went back over, the budget that we approved last year. And I looked on page 19, which is debt services. And in looking at that,
What page? I mean, what function at the top?
Debt service.
Yes, yes.
In looking at this and looking at the figures, I'm assuming that we could not do any of these projects unless we had a bond. Would that be correct?
We could, okay, there's two options on, with the SPOS.
Okay.
You can wait till the end after you've collected all the money and then do your projects. Or you might can start 3/4 of the way through, halfway somewhere in there. So you don't want to get to owing somebody money that you don't have on hand. But, so what you typically do is sell bonds, and that lets you start, see, if we wait to the end of collections, we're 7 years from now.
I understand.
So you sell bonds, and you get 2 years before the SPOS collections ever start, and they hold out of the bond proceeds the amounts that you gotta pay for interest for the 2 years, and then the fees. So I mean, it's basically gonna cost you $1 million to sell the bonds.
And looking at the figures that you gave us, the bond was for 20 years, beginning in 2014, ending in 2034.
That's the GO bond. The SPOS bonds are 5 years.
Oh, but what was the 20-year bond?
That was when we finished Kitchen Funny. They asked for a way to do the field house, and that was how we could do the field house without raising any taxes, was the renewal of that general obligation bond.
Thank you.
Now that's another option too. If they felt like these things, our total bond, what we can, indebtedness is up to the total, it's like 10% of our total digest. So we could go to the voters in addition to a SPOS with a general obligation bond for more money to do these projects. That is an option. So I just want to, but with the existing SPOS, we're not going to be able to do all those projects.
So we had 16 million, you're saying, to do those two projects?
But the SPOS collections that we have right now, it's going, it's $246,000. You're looking like $15 million, and then you got to back away for your interest and all that. So I'm really thinking you got 13 million. With, hey, go add back the $2 million from state funds, so you're looking at about $15 million.
And it looks like, I mean, that bond is extremely expensive, because we've got.
It's $1 million per year.
You've got fees, you've got dues, and then you've got the interest. And on that 20-year bond, you're looking at $16 million, interest, dues, and fees on that. And
Over 20 years, yes.
the 20 years, and we're paying on that debt almost $3 million a year. Well, SPOS is bringing in about that amount. So when we are barely making ends meet, so to speak. I mean, with what we are taking in on SPOS.
No, the two are separate now. We said we levy a millage rate for bonds that brings in about $800,000 that makes the payment on those 20-year bonds. The SPOS collections make this payment on the SPOS bonds, which is, they're paid back in 5 years. So the 1 cent comes in, pays those bonds, and I think if you look at the bottom, it tells what what bonds. There's probably 3 bond issues, 2014 A, B, and then.
Yes, there are.
Okay. The 2014 A and B are your SPOS bonds, and the one that's the last one is your GO bond. That's from my head now.
No, and you're correct. And the total our payment is $3 million a month.
No, a year.
I mean, excuse me, a year. So, I mean.
But that's the retirement of the bond.
That's a significant amount, and over, you know.
But when you sell $20 million worth of bonds, you're paying them back.
You're right. We're paying a lot to borrow that money. You know, we're paying a lot to borrow the money. And, I mean, I understand what you're saying. If we save and kind of pay as we go, you know, and when we get enough money, we actually can, you know, go down our list and decide the priorities, and we can fund that particular facility or upgrade a facility. But right now, it looks like, you know, I mean, the way it's on this piece of paper, that it's, I mean, we're close to what we're going to take in, we're going to use.
Right.
I
But
mean-
now, let me say this, you always want to set a splice beyond what you know you're gonna collect based on current amounts. Because who knows what could come, the mall could move to Lee County or something like that. So if our splice collections somehow or another double, which we never, what the state did was take away money from car sales, they could put it back in, the car sales go back more into splice, then our splice collections could go. So that's why our list always exceeds what we can do. So
Absolutely.
and that's why I put buses in there, because that's something that's easy that we need and stuff like that. But we probably will never buy a bus with that money.
Or pay down our debt with the money, because, I mean, there are so many needs that we have.
Yeah, but I was just talking about going out and asking for more debt, because our debt, our needs are so much more. I mean, the interest rates on those bonds are very, I mean,
Now, where did we get the funds? Well, I know that part of it was lost and part of it was a bond, but we've got the field house, we've got, well, actually, let's start back at the
field
football-
house, the turf,
the football field, and then we've got the tennis courts, and we've got the track over here, and then the soccer field that's inside the track, and then we just finished a field house over there.
and that field house that we finished over there, you're talking about across the ninth grade?
Yes.
Our maintenance guys did that in the house.
But that's the track and soccer and tennis, all that was our last, that's SPOS 5. The GO bond paid for the turf, the football, the multi-purpose building addition to the high school, playground equipment for all the K-5 schools, technology, and that's what Gary was referring to earlier. A lot of that stuff was bought on the front end, and so when we came in 5 years ago, and we got ready to build a multi-purpose building, we had to
No, it was a renovation of the high school. Because,
value engineer the multi-purpose building as well, though.
Yeah, we did.
To get that within the cost of the G, that's what I'm speaking of. And then, on the splice, when we start out, we were gonna do $1 million renovation of the high school, and it just grew, to cost about $4 million before it was all over with. And so we had to, and that, was, an increase in cost.
and that's another reason we went with JCI to give us these amounts, because I did not wanna come in and tell y'all it's gonna take $1 million to renovate the high school, and I did do that. I think you remember, and it actually come out to be good. Because it was a terrible estimate, and it wasn't, I didn't grab it out of the high sky. I mean, I relied on somebody. This time I relied on somebody that knows the cost more. And then when he gave us these numbers, he said, we can go down from that, but that's just so you know that the maximum out there.
That gym, he can go down with a state-of-the-art facility that we're talking about wanting that. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's gonna get into what you get, and so, you know, we've talked
Well,
about a
that's
lot
what I
of
wanna know what
things.
that figure includes.
Right.
What Donna
A
talked
50,000
about,
square
well,
foot rectangle?
well,
I
what
mean,
Donna
what's
talked
in it?
about tonight is good things. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
that could make it go up. I mean, so.
I agree, but that's why I would feel better seeing a figure with that than just, I don't know what 50,000
Well,
square
we,
feet.
until we move forward, we won't
Yeah.
get an estimate,
Right.
or we'll have to have an architect draw plans.
And then you gotta have the money to do that.
Right.
So that's when you gotta have the SPOS voted for, so that then you can go talk to the architect, so you can pay him. I mean, right now, we can't pay him, so he's not really gonna really talk to us real much, you know?
And Ms. Ford had a good idea about moving the wall at the gym, and we did look into that with the last splice, but Mr. Rash, I'm sure can tell you, behind that wall is all HVAC. It would, when we talked to our architect, he said it would be cheaper to build a new gym than to than to go to that, you know, where I thought, okay, we'll just build another court besides the one we have, and then we'd have a bigger gym.
We
But
did, but
it sounded simple, but when you get into it, because of the cost of the HVAC relocation, it would be cheaper just to build a new gymnasium. And so, that's something to take into consideration.
Yeah, basically, if you add on there, you're still building the structure. But you also got the demolition cost on top of that, so you got the demolition cost and the structure cost to expand the building, especially with that HVAC stuff and all of the utilities that have to be relocated, so it does get expensive to do that.
All right. Any other questions? Well, we have our work cut out for us to determine what is actually the list of priorities. I know that'll be.
y'all don't have to vote on that, but what you do need to do is give us direction to talk to the attorney so that he can form it in the ballot question. So if you want something that's you want something out, I mean, I think right now the general consensus is those items to go to the attorney with for him to develop a ballot question, and y'all actually vote on the ballot question, which will incorporate those things. Now, the language of those things will be more general. Of course, the renovation of the high school, primary school and the new gym, that needs to be specific, but the others will be more general. I mean, the athletic facilities could include the baseball field and stuff like that, renovation, modification, stuff like that. But the main projects you want out there.
You don't need that tonight.
No, I don't need that tonight, but we've got to, when was that? I don't know if that's just notifying Veronica of an election, or I'll need to ask, our attorney when he needs, the actual ballot question.
But the
It could
voting
be-
is May 19th.
Yeah, but we have to get it in by February to,
Okay.
Right. The next board
Next
meeting
board
may be
meeting.
where, right, where we need to vote on that meeting.
All right. Any other discussion? All right, we'll move on to the next item. Dr. Miller?
Yes, sir. I would have, for the next discussion item is a discussion of board compensation. You have a letter in your packet there that was written by Dr. Clay, the state representative for our area in December of 1992. And at that time, Georgia transitioned from elected school, superintendent appointed school board members to reversal of that, elected board members appointed superintendent. And in the letter, the discussion was pertaining to compensation of board members. The board's pay at that time, as proposed by Dr. Clay, was $50 per meeting. That was 27 years ago. That has not changed in that time period. You have a copy of the state board policy code BBB, local board governance. And if you turn to page 4, paragraph 4, subparagraph 2, you'll see a statement there that says the pay for the board was set based on, and I quote, LEA with a full-time equivalent program count of less than 4,000 students. And I believe that's the guideline that was used to set the pay. And we've had a great deal of growth since that time as a school system. We have now more than 6,500 students. And one thing that the board may want to consider is looking at the compensation. In order to change board compensation, you would need to work with the state representative, as Dr. Clay did in sending that letter. You would have to get local legislation to do that. So I just wanted to call that to the board's attention and allow you the opportunity to discuss it. Of course, this will be action that you would have to take and decide on. I think there's arguments that could be made both ways. I've prepared also a comparison of other school districts similar to us or in our area and what they pay their board members. And we are on the lower end of the scale. We're not alone.
The lowest, or the second
Well,
place.
well, we're right.
We're
So,
15 cents per student.
Well, I'll speak to that and then I'll let Joe do it. $72 million, probably twice that of the county, and the county commissioners are paid somewhere north of $1,000 a month. I get that, appreciate that. As Ms. Ford and I were discussing earlier, my view is this is a public service, and I'm certainly not in it for the $50 a month. I think one of the strengths of this board is that all of our board members have always served for the purpose of serving the community and serving, making sure that the largest employer, the largest factor of our real estate values that we love in this county is predicated upon the success of this organization. We look at that as a service to continue serving our constituents, primarily our students. I can't see us increasing the compensation. I appreciate your effort, I do, and I get where you're coming from, and that's great. For me personally, I just don't think it's appropriate for us. I would like to make sure that the reason people always serve on this board is out of a heart to in fact serve and not compensation. I don't begrudge the other folks who have higher, compensation on their boards in the other counties, but for me personally, I couldn't support that increase.
Well, I'd go either way. I'm surely not doing it for the money. But it says $50 per day of attendance at a conference. I only get $50 per conference. Should I get per day? I'm bidding y'all owe me the money.
I didn't realize we were paying.
I gotta get a football.
Thank you, Trey. Thank you, Trey. So.
Y'all have a good night.
Anybody else like to speak to that?
Actually, there was an article by Fox News called Investigating School Board Salaries Across Southwest Georgia. And Dr. Miller did provide several counties, but there are 5 counties in Southwest Georgia, Lee being one of those, Ben Hill, Berrien, Irwin, and Tiff County, that are all just like us. They are very committed to the fact that this job is a public service position. And there is a statement by the Tiff County superintendent, and he said, that his board members feel like, being on the board is not to supplement your income. It is to serve the community. And there are so many opportunities to serve, and there is no compensation. And it is the most wonderful opportunity to serve. We have, just to name a few, and I'm very passionate about the children. So Whiz Kids and Literate Lee and Odyssey of the Mind. I'm now a judge for Odyssey of the Mind. The Read to Me, she left. The Read to Me, you read the books, there is no compensation, it's really okay. Because the value that you get is from what you've done and how you've helped serve the community. And then, in addition to all the things that you can do, and I know the retired teachers do a lot of things at both the pre-K level and over at Head Start, but there is just a myriad of things. The chamber board, there's just the library board. There are so many opportunities, and all of those things do not have funds that are tied to them, but it gives you an opportunity to give back, and when you have been in the school system, in the community for a long period, you have a very broad basis of understanding of things. And then I even think about, if you go out on the baseball field, about this time of year when all those coaches are out there with all those little kids, they're not getting paid. They're out there because they want to be out there. They want to see those kids hit the balls. And it's just great. And census is going on now, so if you don't have anything to do, you can volunteer to be on the census board and drive all over the county and put up signs and make sure everybody knows that it's a count on April the 1st. And you can help people that aren't going to be able to complete the forms, So there's just so many things, and I think this is another area of service. And I'm very committed to the children and everybody that actually works in the school system, and for me, you know, this is a new compensation. And so that everybody knows, it's really what the state says is the minimum compensation for a board. You know, you can't go any lower than this. You know, free would not be an option. The $50 probably offsets travel or different things that board members do to be able to come to the meetings. But I'm very happy that it is.
Dr. Miller, I do thank you for bringing that to our attention. I appreciate that effort. But based on what you've heard, I think
This
That's
more
right.
discussion on it.
that's right.
So, definitely, I think that our board members do a great service to our community, and, the old saying, time is money, and that is a cost, to serve, and not only that, to get the phone calls and to be stopped in the grocery store, I'm sure all of you are. And, not to be exorbitant in your compensation, but to just bring it a little more in line with, the efforts. I know that all of you would serve for free, and, the money is not the issue, that's no doubt for any of our board members, but I did wanna offer that opportunity to discuss it. And, I found Dr. Clay's letter in our safe, and I was surprised. I did not know that this has not changed in 27 years, and, I thought that was very generous.
Thank you very much. Seeing no other items